area. I thought she got the ball.
Yes, hello everybody. How are we? Welcome back to the Irish Hotspur. Jack here to provide you guys your fan show after our great win against Manchester United. That's now 2 wins in a row in the Premier League, 2 back-to-back clean sheets. Can we start building from the season? Can we have a late, sort of strong end to the season? Can we finish on a high? That's what we'll be talking about, and also just be talking about the game in general and what to look forward to now that we're out of the 2 domestic cups. All we have to focus on is, just recovering players, getting them back to full fitness, getting some others back from injury, and then seeing if we can build from here, seeing if we can assemble together some sort of strong end to this campaign and to the Premier League season, but also maybe more importantly, right, the Europa League. And once these playoff rounds are over in March, we'll be descending into that Europa League campaign. So strap yourselves in, everybody. It never gets boring, never gets dull with Tottenham Hotspur. And so if you guys want to come on, have a chat about the Manchester United game or what's to come, for the rest of the season, feel free to do so. The link should be in the community section, or as Brad and I were saying, annoyingly so, it's called the post section now. So if you go to the YouTube profile for this channel, for the Irish Hotspur, you should scroll over to the right. I think it's near playlists and podcast tab. In the post section, there should be, for all the fan show members and elite show members, a link for you guys to come on and have your say. Not a huge queue, by the way, in the background. So in case you guys have been wanting to make a debut, or in case you guys maybe wait a little bit longer when the queue dies down, I'd say do it now. Come on, have your say, and join me. Would love to have some debuts, or would love to have some people that maybe normally join towards the end, maybe pop towards the beginning. I don't have really a whole lot to say anymore about the game. I've kind of talked, my lungs out about it, because I was earlier doing the big upstream. We were doing the recap of the highlights, doing the video highlight breakdown. I gave my player ratings, went through some of the stats. So at this stage, definitely happy to hear from you guys about the game, and definitely happy to hear from you guys what you think of the performances of so many of the players. But at this point, I'm almost, ready to move on into the next game, Ipswich Town, which could be a difficult one. But I'm going to get to some of the chat, going to talk about maybe some of the ideas, some of the questions that I may have, prepared for you guys. But as always, it's your 10 minutes. It's your time for you guys to chat about whatever it is that's on your minds, Tottenham Hotspur wise. Ryan's in the house. Good to see you, Rhino. Saying big up, Davo and Jack. Won't be on as I've not got any membership, but I will be back next week. What did you think of the protest? Much love. Hope you're both well. Jacko, are you happy clapping? Definitely happy clapping. 2 wins in a row, 2 back-to-back clean sheets right now. How could you not be happy clapping, especially if you're trying to disguise, the kind of, I think, up and down season that we've been having? I'll take anything I can get. And I've said to you before, one of my favorite things as a Spurs fan is when you do get desperate, you'll take anything. And I end up getting a big smile on my face, even when we get a scrappy 1-0 win, to Fulham or a Crystal Palace or even an Ipswich. I'll still have a big smile on my face. Manchester United are starting to become a team that I definitely get a big boost from. As much as they look pretty terrible, it's still a big name on paper. It's still a huge side with some decent players in there. And I think that was, for the most part, a deserved win, Ryan. When it comes to the protests, I was very pleasantly surprised and happy to see the turnout, especially for the march. It looked really, really, really massive, and it looked like it had a huge turnout. Looked like, the Spurs fans as well were able to, be loud, be present. But then also there didn't seem to be any sort of maybe controversial moments. There wasn't any infighting. It looked like there was a real cohesion and a real togetherness in the march and in the protest. So fair play to Change for Tottenham. Fair play to everybody that got involved. I wish I was there. I definitely would have taken part in the march. Unfortunately, I'm so far away that the only thing I could really do was, continue to sort of spread, the message, but then also, bring on people like I did from Change for Tottenham. And hopefully you watch that, Rhino, because I think it was a good interview with that guy. And, I'm happy that they got their voice out there. The sit-in, hopefully that can happen, again. I think that really would work, if they continue to do that, because, we know with Sky Sports, Talk Sport, those various media outlets, they do hang out after the game. And, oftentimes, they'll have the cameras, pointed around towards the empty seats of the stadium. And if you did have the fans protesting and making their voices heard about the ownership, I think that could go a long way, actually, in garnering more and more media attention. But that's the goal, right? Is to just bring the attention, bring eyes and ears to the frustrations, to the difficulties that we've been facing with the ownership. And it's up to the big media outlets to shine a spotlight onto some of the problems that we've been facing, because a lot of us Spurs fans, I think, are now at this stage, it feels like, even if you feel less strongly about Daniel Levy and the board, I think a lot of Spurs fans now at this point feel to some degree, like they have at least some commonalities, some common agreement over whatever grievances or whatever frustrations and annoyances they have with the board and Daniel Levy. For me, I think it's just the constant sort of repeating of the same mistakes over and over and over again without any real sign that they're actually learning from the mistakes that they've made of the past. So that's one of my big frustrations, and I think a lot of people would echo the same thing. And that's enough for me to want to kind of express my voice for change and to see if they can shine a light onto it. So fair play to change for Tottenham, and great question, Rhino. Thanks for popping in here. Truth sets you free. Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing okay, sir, and enjoying your golfing life if that's the one that I'm thinking of. K32 saying hello, Jack and Dave. Hope you're doing a great job on your own. Best wishes today for a good recovery. Thanks, K32. I think he could be back by Wednesday. I think that's what he told me last time around. So let's just pray for that one, K32. But thanks, man. Thanks for all the support. Ricky Nato, big up brothers, good win and massive 3 points. Can't smile without you. Thank you guys for great, passionate show. Come on, you Spurs. Thank you, Ricky. Very, very kind of you. Jimmy Hotspur's in here. Good to see you, Jimmy. Hopefully you're doing all right. We have Rain Man in here. Thanks, Rain Man, for supporting the channel. The march and the protest was really well run, friendly, and a pleasant thing to be involved with. I'm glad, Rain Man. I'm glad. It looked, really well organized. Looked like a lot of fun, and also just looked like everything had sort of gone exactly to plan, really. So fair play to change for Tottenham, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Suit measured, good win for the boys. Let's creep up the table. Spence is immense. Vic is back in a good form or good nick. Definitely. It's good to have Vicario back. That's for sure. Jimmy Hotspur saying we stanked the place out yesterday, but took the 3 points. Don't be flattered by deception. I mean, Jimmy, I kind of disagree, actually. I don't think we were by any means exceptional or by any means amazing, but I do think we were better than Manchester United at the end of the day. And it is just about being better than the team in front of you. Do I think we're going to go up and smack, a top six side, after a game like that? No, not really. In fact, the games against Fulham and the games against Bournemouth, after the Ipswich Town game, I'm still not too hot about them. I'm not too confident whether we're going to be getting, 6 points against those sort of teams. And even though on paper they're not very sexy teams or very big teams, they are around, the top 10, top 8 where we would like to be. And I still think teams like that are probably better than us at this moment in time. But it's about being better than the team in front of you. And I think we were, for the most part, not for the whole game, but for the majority of the game, at least, if you were to judge it up by every 10 minutes or so, I think Spurs, for the large periods of that game were better than Manchester United. And in the second half, I think we actually deserved to grab a second. I think we had plenty of chances to grab the second. We just aren't necessarily that clinical of a team, and we weren't able to do so. So then it just sort of hung on, and there was that little uneasiness, about whether Spurs were going to once again, kind of give up a lead that maybe they shouldn't have, but they didn't. They hung on, and fair play to them. I don't think we were exceptional by any means, Jimmy. I would agree with you there, but I might disagree with you with that. We were, stinking the place out. I'm not too sure if that's the case. Rick C saying we didn't play bad yesterday. Could have easily scored 3 or 4. The boys got the job done. We still conceded 16 shots on target against the worst United team since 74. I think that's part of, the style right now, man. I mean, that's actually sadly an improvement on some of our other games. Look at some of the other games that we've been playing. We're conceding a lot of shots and a lot of dangerous chances. And that's my big worry with Ange's system right now. I'm not even really fully convinced that, Ange is still, turning things around right now. It's just that with the new players coming back, with the fresh sort of influence from returning injured players, I think it's going to make this, team and squad a lot better, and we'll get better performances. But by no means am I saying that we're somehow like an amazing team now and, everything's just going to be swimming. Hopefully it can be, but I'm not going to, jump the gun yet, Jimmy. So I'm definitely on the same boat as you. But everybody, I will get the show started. I will bring up some of the questions, some of the talking points, but we have some absolute pros in the back end, Chris and Brad. So I'm pretty sure they know what they want to talk about. But in case anybody that's listening along that might be a fan show member that wants to pop on and have their say, like I said, the queue is not very long. So come on, have a chat with me. Would love to see a debut. Plenty of people have been gifted memberships by people before. So if you've ever had one, gifted by various lovely people of this community, come on, have your say with me, have a chat. And also, if you're someone who maybe waits towards the end of the show, to come on, I'm not too sure if that's going to be happening today because that's not the longest of queues. So we might end up finishing the show maybe earlier than what we're used to. So do prepare for that. So if you want to come on, have your say, please do so. The link is in the post section or community section as it was formerly called on the YouTube profile or on the YouTube page. Some of the questions I have are just really about some of the individual performances of the team. James Maddison, has he shushed, Roy Keane? And what do you make of James Maddison's, performance like that? Is he a guy that I was, maybe suggesting to the other Dave Harris? I was doing a recording just earlier, just before the show, but I was suggesting that James Maddison might be that type of guy that plays a lot better when he ends up having a chip on his shoulder of some kind, someone that, he likes having, someone that he can prove wrong, someone that maybe could kind of piss him off a little bit and then he can prove them wrong in some sort of fashion. I think if, with what Roy Keane had said to James Maddison, I wonder if that's actually something that he might have needed in order to finish the season strongly, give him that reason to come back, hot, give him that reason to come back strong. And I think Maddison was able to do that, after Roy Keane's comments. So that's one of them. Did Roy Keane do Maddison a favor? Basically, is my question. The other one is on the likes of Vicario coming back. Is it a coincidence? Is it, maybe a sign of the struggles that we were having earlier on, during that bad run of form? If we had a Vicario in the team, could maybe some of those results have been a little bit better? Would we have gotten some more wins, maybe some more draws, if he was in the team? Because Vicario is definitely one of the reasons that stayed as a clean sheet and the reason that we were able to hold on. The guy had some great saves, but in my opinion, did really well in parrying a lot of the saves out of the danger area and not giving those United players a second sniff at some of the opportunities. So Vicario is a big talking point. I want your thoughts on Matisse Tell. I know Dark Sun G and some others thought that maybe he should have scored and could have even, in Dark Sun G's case, he thinks he probably could have had a hat trick. Looking back through the highlights, kind of agree. Maybe he could have had at least one or two goals or should have been able to put on some better efforts on target towards Onana. I thought he actually played quite well. It's just that when it come to the finishing department, when it came to chances that was presented to him, I don't think he did very well with them. So he definitely has to have better finishing boots. But I liked his movement. I liked his hold-up play. I thought he looked pretty tidy for the most part. So thoughts on Matisse Tell, thoughts on Kevin Donzo. I thought that was Kevin Donzo's best performance in a Spurs shirt. Does he already look better than Dragishin? Is he someone that is already maybe ahead in the pecking order than a Dragishin? Is he someone that can challenge, Christian Romero? Those are some of the questions I have in store for you. And then also some others, in and around just Ange Postecoglou and the team in general. But I think I'm just going to get this show started. Good to see Iceman in the house. Hopefully you're keeping well, Iceman. And Leighton Evelyn is always my favorite happy clapper. We were shit. Phil P, good to see you, Phil. Roy Keane is a Spurs fan. He was a bad cop to give Matters the motivation ahead of Man United. 4D chess. Woo! Love that, Phil. I think that's probably the case with Roy, is he maybe is willing to speak really honestly about Maddison because he's a Spurs fan. I think someone had told me too that Roy Keane was a huge Glenn Hoddle fan growing up. So he probably is comparing, the likes of a James Maddison to one of the best number 10s of all time in English football in Glenn Hoddle. So he knows, what a real playmaker looks like. And he did admit, Maddison is a good player. It's just he feels like he's a guy that maybe doesn't show up, as often as he can. And I think this was, maybe a bit of 4D chess. I agree with you from Roy Keane, just giving him that little chip on his shoulder. And I think Maddison is someone personally, Phil, that plays better with a chip on his shoulder. And Roy Keane was able to give him one. Let's get this show on the road, though. Let's get it started. And we'll get things started off with the GOAT, the General, Chris, see what he has to say. And also, everybody, there's only a few people in the back end. So if you want to come on, have your say, fan show link is up there. Feel free to join me. Chris, how are we?
Hey, Jed.
Well, do you want to start there on the James Maddison shush back to Roy Keane?
See, Jack, the thing is with James Maddison, he's too inconsistent, right? One day he'll be absolutely fantastic like he was yesterday, but then there'll be games where he just disappears out. So we don't know what James Maddison we're getting. Okay, so if he becomes consistent, I'll be very, very surprised, but time will tell. I'm not going to overhype him right now until he proves it in 2-3 games in a row, 4 games in a row. Not one game here, then play spectacular, and the rest of them play shit, then come back again, play good one game, and play shit again for the 4 games. He needs to be consistent.
I agree with the consistency argument. I do think he's been more consistent this season than he was last season. Last season, I had a lot of criticism for him. This year, I think he's been okay. Usually, I think Spurs are a better team when he starts in the side than when he is on the bench.
Yeah.
For me, Chris. But Maddison,
I agree with the when he starts, but as I said, he needs to be more consistent, more playing well than he was not playing too well.
So, do you not want to make a jump, and make a big bold prediction that maybe this is the chip on his shoulder that he needs, or do you think this is only like a little blip, where he hears something from Roy, he's going to turn up for 1 or 2 games, and then he'll end up throwing a stinker in, sometime soon. So you're not going to get too ahead of yourself. Is that what you're saying?
Basically, yeah. Because
Yeah.
let's see what he does next week against Ipswich.
Do you think we're a better side, with Maddison in the starting 11, or do you think you're not going to say that yet?
Yeah, of course we are, because he's got that attacking pass where he can pick up a pass. So he is a creative player, but that's when he's on top of his game, picking out passes like he was yesterday. I was pretty impressed with him yesterday. I was pretty impressed with them all, to be fair. So it was a poor Man United team, let's be honest, yeah. But James Maddison played really well.
And what did you make of that? From maybe Jimmy and other people in the chat saying, Spurs were terrible. We stunk up the place.
Well,
do you think that's fair, Chris? Like, what do you make of that?
No, Jimmy's overreacting, mate. To be honest with you, in my opinion, Jimmy's overreacting. We weren't terrible. We weren't great. We got the job done. We did what we needed to do. We hadn't won at home since November, so we needed to get over the line, and we did. And second half, we played really well defensively. I can't fault the team yesterday. Defensively, they were sharp. Vicario coming up for the ball, collecting the ball, which is quite impressive, which is unusual for him to do so.
Yeah.
But I don't think we were terrible. I don't know. That's an overreaction.
Yeah, for me, Chris, it was a bit of like we were better than the other side, but I don't think we were anything exceptional at the same time either, right? That's kind of just how I feel about being better than the other team.
We were absolutely fantastic. Jack, I'm not going to say, oh, we were brilliant, we were fantastic, we done this. No, we got the job done. We done what we needed to do. It's as simple as that.
I mean, you didn't have any grand expectations. It was going to be liquid Ange ball, again straight away, did you?
What does my name say, Jack? So that's my.
So yeah, in a way, you were going into it relatively low expectations. Did they surpass them, or did they kind of meet your expectations?
Look, Jack, I had a feeling we would win this game. I knew it was going to be a cagey game, a scrappy game, which it was. But we come out on top. What we need to do. Maybe second half we could have had a second or third goal, but I'll take a 1-0 win. I'll take a clean sheet. I'll take the 3 points. I'm happy with that. But do I think we could have done better? Probably we could have done with some of the passing. Could have been a bit more crisp, a bit more fluid. But let's see now that some of these injured players are coming back. Odegaard come back yesterday. He looked like he was quite sharp. We'll see.
Good to see you, Adrian Shiroka, in the house. Hopefully you're doing well, sir, as well as Davey Clark. And Angelo Tyro, and Jen, 4-year contract. Love that, sir. Chris, what did you make of Jed Spence's performance, man? I mean, the guy is just the best player in this Spurs shirt right now.
Jed Spence was immense yesterday. I can't fault him. He's come back with a new attitude. Right, he was the nobody wanted man. Right now, look, he's probably the first name on the team sheet because he is that good. He's put his head down. He's got on with it, and he's proven himself. So I can't see why he can't have a good running team. Give Poro a rest. They look right back where he's natural.
I mean, is that once Udogie is fit and available, is that what you would do? Would you just give Poro a good rest, for a while, and
give him a couple, give him a game or two rest.
Yeah,
and recover properly.
Yeah. I mean, do you have any sympathy for Poro? Because he has played some of the most minutes of any footballer in Europe. And someone said that, to me earlier today. They were like, oh, he's fatigued, or they said, you can't say he's fatigued. And it's like, I'm pretty sure you can. He's one of the most played players in Europe.
Jack, he's been criticised a lot recently for his performances. Have they ever thought maybe he's absolutely worn down from having played 2 games a week every game, not having a moment's rest? You know what I mean? Now Udogie fit. I can't see why Poro can't be given the rest and let Spence play on the right hand side, which is his natural side anyway.
Yeah, I think Poro needs a rest of some kind, man. It's just, what do you make of William Webb's comment? Wasn't the passing, it's the lack of shots. We have chances to shoot in case of a passing option. I mean, I think William is kind of alluding to just the decision-making in the final third, right, from the players. That game felt similar to other ones where I think we should have scored more than one, to be honest, Chris.
There were situations yesterday where maybe some of the pass, instead of going for these easy passes, he would have tried to bend the ball in the top corner. Now it seems like Son's passes become more. Son's game has become more passive, so he'd just rather pass the ball on and move on. But look, we haven't got Solanke at the moment, so we're putting a lot of pressure on Tell. He's only just come into the team to be that superstar. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got to take the time a little bit. We'll get back there, but it's taking our time.
Yeah. Look, for me, William, a lot of times it's like, yeah, go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
Jack, at the end of the day, it's like this, yeah? We knew for a fact yesterday we weren't going to be playing spectacular handball. We were going to get the job done. That was it, done and dusted.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was just sort of the moments where I think Kulusevski had one, Chris and William. Sonny might have had one or two. Tell had a lot of them, but a lot of the shots ended up just getting blocked, by the defenders. Like, that's what was more frustrating is I don't think we made Onana really work.
The problem is there was too much thinking on when we were taking the shot. Instead of going for the first time shots, they're just thinking about where they're going to place the ball, giving Man United a chance to get back and defend. That's all it was. It was just poor decision making in the final third.
Yeah. Aren't you noticing the same thing, though? A lot of our shots get blocked, though, Chris, by defenders when I really don't think they should be.
They should be because we're just too slow putting the ball in.
Mm-hmm.
If they moved the ball a little bit quicker, they wouldn't give the defense an opportunity to get back into position, would they?
Yeah. Where it's just in I think Kulusevski's case on one of them, he had, two easy angles to put the ball in the back of the net, ends up shooting it straight at Onana. And then something similar happened with Matisse Tell, right? Matisse Tell had a few chances and all of them just sort of slowly, dribbled into the keeper.
Yeah, but you know what? Yesterday I wasn't expecting too much from the game. A minimum I was expecting a draw. That's what I was expecting, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Happy for 3 points, but I was expecting a draw. But draw is still out. If Ange wins the Europa League, but then I might put one leg back over to the Ange train. Until then, I'm still out at the moment.
Or maybe you'll get back on the wall. You'll get back on the fence.
Yeah, exactly. Because I just want to see how the next 4, 5, 6 results go. Let's see. If things turn around, then maybe we'll start looking at things differently. But at the moment, I can't say I'm back on the Ange train because that would be me just lying to myself. Me at the moment, I'm Ange out because of the results that have been happening, not because I'm wanting it.
Yeah. What did you make of the likes of Tell's performance, Chris? David Clark has a lot of criticism for him. What did you make of his performance? Did you think he was good? Did he frustrate you?
Yeah, he was good, but he frustrated the life out of me. Some of the decision making from him. Maybe it's a rustiness that he hasn't started games in Bayern Munich, and he's just getting his foot back into the door, or he's no wonder Bayern Munich gets starting him. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's you've got to give him more time. You can't give him just 2 weeks and judge him off.
Yeah. I just thought, some of those attempts he had on, to shoot Chris, it just felt like, he just wasn't making good connection with it. And they ended up just sort of dribbling into the goalkeeper. And as a striker, maybe it's just an off day for him because he had a lot of good opportunities, but just every one of his shots just were pretty unconvincing.
Let's see how he gets on against Ipswich.
Yeah.
Let's see how he gets on against Ipswich. Because let's say, look, Man United's centre-backs are slightly better than Ipswich. Let's be honest.
You'd hope so.
Not by much, but by slightly, yeah? Let's see how he gets on with those sorts of centre-backs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Harry Maguire had him well and truly marked the whole game. And that wasn't his game. We were just keeping him out of the game.
But I felt like he got opportunities, right? So that's the point. Is he found opportunities. It's just he's got to put them away. That's
Jack,
the
you
second
can't really
part.
say there were opportunities. Jack, you can't really say there were opportunities. There were half opportunities.
I think a couple of them were decent chances, Chris. I think a couple of them were decent chances.
But by the time the ball's played to him, the defence has already come back. But we're too slow on the ball. Getting the ball forward, we're too slow. It's just all the build-up play is way too passive.
I might be a bit harsh on Tell, but I feel like, when I was watching back some of those highlights, I felt like he did have a couple here and there that maybe he could have just done a little bit better with.
You were never just harsh on Emerson.
There's always plenty of players that you could call me up on that I'd definitely be hypocrites about, Chris. Kevin Donzo, you and I were talking about him in the back end. I think you are starting to like him. Is that right?
I'm impressed with him. I'm actually quite impressed with him. He's strong and he's actually mobile, and he's actually looking to play the ball forward, not play sideways and backwards all the time. That's what I want to see. I play forward football, not backwards football.
And is it that's what you like about Donzo? Is he's just trying things? He's not a sideways merchant or something like that?
Yeah, he's not a sideways merchant or picking the easy pass all the time. He's actually wanting to attack. You could see him, as Brad was saying in the back of the chat as well, that he was covering Poro.
Mm-hmm. Which we know is a difficult task because Poro is all over the place sometimes defensively.
Yeah, and he's done a really good job.
Yeah.
Can't fault the guy. Can't fault him.
Speaking of sideways merchant, though, Chris, like I've been guilty of labeling that on Ben Davis as well, and I felt like since he's not been playing alongside Dyer Sanchez, I'm not sure if he is guilty of that tag.
I have to say, yesterday I was actually quite impressed with Davis. First to the ball, first to put a tackle in, clear us up the line. He plays better as a left centre back than he does a left back.
Yeah, 100%.
He's more suited. And you know what? Credit to he's not Van der Ven, but he's doing the job.
Are you thinking about an apology for him at the end of the season for Ben Davis? I'm thinking about one, Chris. I might have to draft one.
No, don't check. No. You should know about that. That's not going to happen.
You and Dave are cut from the same cloth of stubbornness about the apology forms. Dave needs to basically just be shown a mountain of evidence before the apology form is even considered being drafted.
Yeah,
and, I think we're the same.
One decent game for me doesn't get an apology letter. If he does it for the rest of the season, then maybe I might just start with an I. Nothing else. I just put I on the letter. That's it.
You'll start opening the document. That's what you'll open the document.
Yeah, just open the document, then I'll just type one letter a week every time he plays well.
But he's been one of the best center backs of the season, though, hasn't he?
Well, when he's played, he's actually played pretty well. But
yeah.
But the thing is, so basically, though, it's like this thing. So if Ben Davis isn't the problem, we're basically saying it's Dragusin, isn't it? But mind you, Dragusin does look a bit shaky.
Yeah. 100%. I think Dragusin looks shakier than the rest of them. Ben Davis, for me, has had probably a better defensive season than even Christian Romero, and I love Christian Romero. But Ben Davis has been exceptional.
You can keep trying to convince me to sign that apology letter for Ben Davis. It's not happening yet. Definitely not happening yet.
Yeah, we can move off of him. Just in general, then, Chris, what did you sort of, take from the performance? Do you think Spurs can push on, have a strong end to the season, or are you also not going to go that far yet?
It was a great performance. If we can do that week in, week out, grind out a clean sheet, get a 1-2-0 victory, then I'm happy. Obviously, I'm going to be happy that we're winning games. But for me at the moment, I don't care if we're playing Ange ball or non-Ange ball or this sort of ball or that sort of ball. I want to see us win. I don't care how we win.
Yeah. It's about winning games. Yeah.
Exactly. We're 12th in the league. I don't want to be seen as sitting 12th in the league. I want to see us at least in the top 8.
Yeah. No, I feel the same. Do you think that's even possible, though, at this stage, Chris? Or are you kind of more focused on the Europa League? Like, are your hopes and expectations for climbing up that table in the Premier League? Do you really have any high expectations? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if I do.
I'm greedy. Jack, I'm greedy. I want both. I want us to win the Europa League, and I want us to push up the league as well.
Do you think there's
one or the other?
What did you make of the fact that some people are saying, Chris, Ange doesn't have any more excuses now that players are coming back from injury, and then also there are fewer fixtures? Do you think that's fair to say that?
That is fair. But look, once he gets Van der Ven and Romero back, that'll be more or less the whole lot fit again, with Werner as well and Richardson's come back as well. He'll have a full squad to pick from. There's none of the excuses saying, but we've played 2 times in a week, we can't rotate. Because that's nonsense. You can rotate. You've got the players there now to be able to do it. So there's no more excuses for Ange. He's been given so much time because of the injury crisis. Now the injury crisis is starting to slow down. There's no more excuses for him.
I mean, Chris, though, like you saw the benefit of seeing Vicario come back, right? I mean, what could that mean when we get Romero, Van de Ven, shows.
Jack, you got to remember one thing, yeah? We had Romero and Van der Ven when we lost to Ipswich already. Yeah, so that makes no difference. At the end of the day, all I care about is seeing us win a game. I don't care when Romero comes back. I don't care when Van der Ven comes back. All I care about is seeing Tottenham win.
Do you think Vicario has, proven people, remember how quick people were about, Anton and Kinski, number one, that type of thing? Do you think Vicario has reminded people how good he can be?
You know what, Jack? I just think it's funny how quickly he recovered when Anton and Kinski returned. When he comes to Tottenham, his recovery miraculously sped up, and he was fit within a couple of months.
Aren't you happy by that, though? Shows he's a competitive guy, right?
Yeah, definitely. I was happy. He did play some good saves yesterday. He did keep us in the game. So, can't complain. I'm glad he's back.
Yeah. No, I think it just shows the competitive man that Vicario is for me, Chris. Did you have any other sort of talking points, man, that you wanted to talk about that I didn't get to let you? Anything else that's been on your mind recently, Spurs-wise?
As I said, Jack, yeah, I'm not getting carried away with this one victory against Man United. Because, as I said, let's face it, they were a poor Man United. They looked like us when we first hit our injury crisis. No players on the bench that they could turn to. Players playing out of position. You name it. Look, if they had a probably stronger team, we probably would have got a draw in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Yeah, I'm just going to say, let's see what happens against Ipswich next week.
Yeah,
let's see if we can give them payback for what they've done to us.
I mean, you have to maybe not go too overboard yet, because if we do end up dropping points to Ipswich, then we do find ourselves kind of back in a similar position of doubting. It's true.
Well, Jack, there is one other thing I want to mention. The captain's son. Another poor game. Another one.
You think he had a poor game? I thought he could have had 2 or 3 assists if there was better finishing.
No. Generally poor game. Again, just disappeared out of the game. Starts off well, then all of a sudden disappears out of the game.
Wow.
Maybe he's Asian and his legs are catching up to him. I don't know, but I can't see us keeping him after the season. I think he needs to go and move on. As much as he's been a legend at the club, I think his legs are finally done on him. You could see him slowing down. In that second half, he was running out of steam.
Did you get any boost then from seeing Odebear come on in comparison?
Yeah, I was quite happy to see him come on. He did make a few runs within a few minutes of being on the pitch. Maybe give Son a rest. Give Son a rest against Ipswich. Give him a break. Let Odebear start.
I just don't know, man. I think Sonny did actually have an all right game. I look at some of the opportunities he gave to Tell. He gave Tell maybe 1 or 2 chances to score. He gave Kulusevski a chance to score. Could have had 2 or 3 assists.
Yeah, what you're saying about his assists? These are goals like 2 or 3 years ago. He would be popping into the top left-hand corner, top right-hand corner without thinking about it. Now he's turning into like Harry Wilson picking the easy option. No, I'm sorry, but it is. It's like it's just taking the easy option too many times. Playing safe too many times now.
Mm. He does get into
score. He gets into good scoring opportunities. Instead of putting it in like he used to, he passes. And he puts passes into no man's land. Kulusevski, who's going to probably have 2 or 3 men on him. Same with Tell. But he can actually take the shots on himself.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Safe.
There were one-on-one chances he had where he could have put on a better shot or created a bit more space, I think, between him and his defender to put on a better shot. I would agree with that.
I don't think he played that great yesterday. Okay. Just my opinion.
Well, Chris, again, anything else that you would, like to discuss, or anything else I didn't get to let you talk about?
No, not really. Just happy we won. But let's see what happens next week. I'm not going to shout from the roof and say, "Hey, we won."
Well, yeah, it looks like I have to wait for you to start happy clapping by next week, Chris. It seems like you might start happy clapping after next week.
Well, let's see if we win 3 or 4 games in a row. Then I might just put one hand up to start clapping.
Okay. Well, I'll wait till then, Chris.
If we win like 8 games in a row, then you might just see me going just once, like that.
Just one big clap.
One time.
Viking.
Yeah, just one big clap. One happy clap. Yeah. One big happy clap. That's it.
Good man. All right, Chris. Well, thanks for getting me started, man.
No problem, Jack. Have a good evening. And oh yeah, before I forget, smash a like and get your super chats into Jack some points tonight because he's on his own.
Thank you very much, Chris. Very, very kind to me, sir. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one. Big up to Chris. The GOAT, the general. Plenty of people know him. Plenty of people love him. Good to get things started off with that guy. I agree with Chris on Sonny. He plays it far too safe these days. I don't think he ever thinks about crossing the ball either and regularly runs into defenders. Interesting. I would agree with some of those descriptions of Sonny. I just don't know if that was the case in the last game. In the last game, I don't think he was by any means exceptional. Like, he wasn't the best player on the pitch, but I don't think he was detracting from the performance in any way. And when I look back on some of the highlights, Darks and G pointed out to me, definitely, in my opinion, could have had 2 or 3 assists on the day. Like, he squared the ball to Kulusevski. Kulusevski should have scored, in my opinion, should have gotten a much better shot on target. And then some of the opportunities he was able to provide for Matisse Tell, I think Tell should have been able to score, or at least, put on a much better effort, and then one of those could have been the second goal. And I think we'd be talking about his performance a little bit differently if one of those had gone in the back of the net, because then we would at least given recognition to the fact that Sonny played a part in contributing to that insurance goal that we were needing. We were desperate to get that second goal just to give ourselves that breathing room, give ourselves that cushion to go on and win the game. But it never came because I just didn't think we had the finishing boots on. But I don't know if that was necessarily Sonny's fault. I will say, though, when he has gotten into maybe these one-on-one moments with his fullback or his defender, he's not nearly as devastating or nowhere near as explosive, really, on some of these one-on-one moments as he used to be. He used to be so good at just engineering a bit of space, from very, very little to work with. And now, he tries the step over, he tries to cut inside, he tries things, but it doesn't seem to, create enough sort of an angle for himself, or he doesn't really seem to be able to create enough space for himself to really, cause damage. So that's just how I feel about it. And I don't even think Tell had any decent shots, to be honest. I think all of them sort of just petered and dribbled into the goalkeeper. I think that's my point. I think he had good opportunities to get a good shot on goal. He just wasn't able to make any clean contact with it. But I'm going to keep this show moving, and I'm going to bring on the next GOAT, the next general, 2 back-to-back ones, and Brad Matthews, the man on the blue sofa. And once again, I'll call out to people who wants to come on, who want to have their say. Feel free to do so, because Brad is the only other one in the queue right now. This would be probably one of the shortest fan shows in history, which I'm fine with. It's an American holiday, so if any of the times to have a shorter one, I'd be happy to take it today. But I like shutting up and hearing from you guys and listening to your guys' opinions and doing a good back and forth. So anybody that usually comes on the shows later, feel free to do so now, because Brad could be the last guest of the evening. But then also anybody that has, again, a membership that maybe they've been meaning to use or have been looking to make a debut or something like that on the show, would love to have you, would love to chat with you. But without further ado, I'll bring on the other GOAT, Brad Matthews. Hey, Brad.
Hello, Jack. You're too kind. You're too kind.
I mean, at this point, it's like family members with you and Chris. I feel like I've seen you guys so long. It's just, it's almost too comfortable with you guys, too comfortable. I mean, let's maybe pick up where I left off just quickly on maybe Sonny and kind of Matisse Tell's performance. Brad, what'd you make of that front three? Some people are pretty critical of them, and then others are not.
I think Son is definitely having a dip in form at the moment. Having said that, shot on the volley that created the first goal, almost like a pre-assist, I thought was very good football. As you said, he set up Kulusevski for that shot, poor shot. I think Chris might have said it, that the Son that I liked, the Son that we all loved, was the one that would get that ball on his right foot and curl it into the far corner. And we don't seem to see that from Son at the moment. And I think when he starts doing that, that's when he's in form. And I just think, I think it could be down to a load of things. Yeah, he's probably getting on a bit. He says 32, getting on a bit. Love it.
Right.
He like all the other players, he's been playing day in, day out. He travels halfway around the world to play for South Korea. I think that, like most of our players, he's just knackered. And I saw this with him a couple of seasons ago. And I was saying at the time, he should just take a 2-week holiday and lie on the beach somewhere, just to get recharged. And I think that might be the problem. I wouldn't say he's lacking in confidence, but I think the whole team has been lacking in confidence in the last few weeks with the run of results we've been getting. So I wouldn't write off Sonny at the moment, but he's not He's not as. But the other thing I will say is that he sets a very high bar.
Yeah, because we know how good he can be.
Exactly, and when he was what Golden Boot 2-3 seasons ago, and when you set a bar that high, it's very difficult to keep that level of consistency. So I wouldn't write him off just yet, but yeah, I do agree that there's something not quite there with him at the moment.
I think that's probably why some people are so keen in some cases to sell him, is that they just want there to be the best version of Sonny. And if they feel like they're not getting the best version of him, then they think, it's time to move on. I think whereas others, are a bit more sentimental and they're kind of, thinking, oh, well, hasn't he earned, the benefit of the doubt, to get back to his best? Or don't you want to give him every chance, to be back to some version of his best? And I just think that's where the split is on Son. As some people think it's never going to happen. He's never going to get back to his better ways. And others think, maybe that like Rome Van Son is wrote here, which is an interesting argument to make. Son has been playing 2 cup games, Premier League and Europa League football. Obviously, he's tired playing all the games. Where was Odegaard? He needs to be fit. I mean, Odegaard has been out of action all season. Mikey Moore's had injuries. Timo Werner's had injuries. Sonny's actually done quite well to keep himself fit and available. And I'd lean towards Rome's side here, that even though I don't think Sonny's having an exceptional season, I think we have to think about the fact he's a 32-year-old that has been played game in, game out. And I don't know if that's really what you would be doing with your 32-year-old talisman superstar. You definitely would be resting him a lot more than we have been.
And the other thing is that it's not only physical exhaustion, it's mental exhaustion as well.
Totally.
That plays into it. Look, for all the players, to be fair. But yeah, I still think Sonny is one of our few match winners that we have in the team that can win a match on his own. Obviously, we used to have one called Harry Kane, but he's not there anymore. It's I mean, you know me, I don't like the world being described in black and white. It's either he's great or no, he's finished. And it's always in between there somewhere. It's always doesn't really any nuance anymore in football or anything really. And so I think it's a bit sort of, to say, oh, no, it's finished, get rid of him, sell him. I think it's no.
Sonny's a good example of that nuance that's needed.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I think, and also I think he'll probably retire and become an ambassador at Tottenham, like Ledley King and Michael Dawson. So
yeah, if he wants to stay around, especially in London, if he's been enjoying his life here. On to the other forward, Matisse Tell. Seems like there was also some. I mean, disagreement's a strong word, but we've seen not everybody seems to agree on his performance. I thought he should have scored, but I kind of liked, his movement. I liked his movement. I liked his hold-up play for the most part. It wasn't perfect, but I thought he looked positive. It's just that I think he should have scored on the day for me, Brad.
Yeah, I think out of the 2 players that we signed, Danso, you can say straight away, I think it was a good signing. I think with Tell, I think we need to see a bit more of him. He's only 19. We keep forgetting that. He did have a few chances yesterday, especially one right at the very end when it was, 1-0 going into injury time, and all he had to do was lob it over the keeper, and it would have been 2-0 game over.
Forgot about that one too.
Jeez, and he somehow didn't control it, and oh dear. So he had opportunities yesterday, but that's his first full game. So I think we have to. Again, it's this thing of no, it's no good. No, get rid of him. No good. No. Bad buy. It's like, no, let's give the guy a chance,
Yeah.
But he's showing little touches to me. There was one bit, I think, where he chested it down and swiveled on a shot on the swivel, didn't he? I don't think it didn't trouble the goalkeeper, but it was a nice little move that he did in, I think, the second half. So I think he's got some little touches there. I'd like to see him run at a defence. I don't think we see that much because he's supposed to be fairly quick. I think, it might be interesting when Solanke gets back, whether they sort of play him out on, and then going back to the Son question, you have a situation there where Solanke plays as the number 9, and he goes out wide on the left, and Son gets a rest. So it'd be interesting to see what he does there. But no, I mean it's too early to call on him at the moment.
Totally. Good to see Stefan in the house. Good to see AE, Rob Ole, C-Max. Thank you guys for supporting us. Let's go on to maybe some other elements of the team. James Maddison, Brad, did he shush Roy Keane? And what do you make of my argument that maybe Roy Keane gave him a good chip on his shoulder to perhaps pick up the rest of the season? Maybe that was the chip that Maddison needed.
Yeah, I think he's quite an honest player, isn't he? He in his after match interviews, he's quite an honest guy, and I think he knows if he's playing well or not playing well. And I think again another player that set a massive high bar in the first 10 games under Ange, and he just needs to be a bit more consistent. And he's come back from 2 weeks out. He's come into a team that have been losing. The confidence is down. So it's going to take him time. But I thought he played well yesterday. And we certainly need a James Maddison on form for this Tottenham team to do well. We need a fit and on form James Maddison. And you said earlier that Roy Keane is a Spurs fan back in his day. So I think if he made the comment, he
already is an honest man. If he's a Spurs fan, he'll even be more honest.
He made the comment, I think, during a match. He said, I said, but you're Man United. He goes, no. He said, I support Spurs, but I played for Man United. So that's what his comment was. So, but I think Maddison, again, he's a goal-scoring midfielder. I think he's up there with the top scorers this season, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
He's a goal-scoring midfielder. All successful teams have a good goal-scoring midfielder. We've had it with Ericsson. We've had it with Dele Alli. We've had it with going back many, many years with Martin Peters. Glenn Hoddle used to score goals. So, or he was more of a scorer of great goals rather than a great goal scorer. But you need a midfielder that chips in with his fair share of goals, and he's doing that. And his reaction, if you watch that back, his reaction for that goal, he was the only one. He's the one. Man United defenders just stood still, but Maddison knew that there's a chance that this keeper won't possibly save it. It might come out to me, and he was there, and he put it in. If he'd been a split second later, then the keeper might have saved it. It might have been on the ball. But so that's what
he was sharp to it.
Yeah,
I saw his whole movement. He was already by the time Barrymore shot it, he already was thinking that Onana was going to parry it to him. It's very smart.
And you do need that. And he's scoring more goals now. He used to score goals like that for Leicester as well, and now he seems to be doing it at Tottenham. So Maddison fit and on form. Maddison, we definitely need him. Definitely.
Do you think? Do you agree with me? I've said this all season. I didn't say this as much last season, but I've said that this season. As much as he can disappear in games, he can be a bit inconsistent. I think we're better off starting Maddison in the starting 11 than we are, bringing him in off the bench.
Yeah,
he seems like a guy where we do tend to play better when he starts games with us than the other way around.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, Jack. I think, he, as going back to saying an on form James Maddison, he's going to be in the starting lineup. So it's I'd like to see. I've said this many, many times. I'd like to see a midfield of Maddison and Kulusevski, because I think Kulusevski can provide the muscle for James Maddison's guile. It's all about balance with football or most sports for that matter. So and he's and Rob Oy, and he's got.
You like a player with character, right?
He does. Yeah. You need a player that other fans hate.
Yeah, personality.
It's just and it's true. And I remember watching when they played Brentford in the very first game under Ange Postecoglou, and Maddison was getting booed, and I actually asked one of my Brentford supporting fans, why are they booing him? And he goes, he's just that sort of player that no one likes. So,
if he's not playing for you, yeah.
So that, I think you need those sort of players in your team just to wind up the opposition. And, I really hope that he does play well for Tottenham, because he again, like Son, he can be a match winner, I think.
Yeah. Similar to Son. Yeah, that's actually a fair point. Never thought about it that way. Similar to Son, it seems like with Maddison, always the argument is like a lot of people rate him and a lot of people know that he can be a good player on his day. It's just this season in particular, maybe even last season, it's more in my case, last season with him. Yeah. He just hasn't shown that on a consistent enough basis, especially playing for a top club like Spurs. But I think, Roy Keane might have done him a favor actually with those comments, especially the one when he said, Brad, about the plane, when he said, 300, I could name 300 England players that would make the plane before him. I wonder if that was the one that really punched him the hardest, because
that would definitely get you going, wouldn't it?
He plays for Tottenham Hotspur, but we know how much it means, to play for England for these guys. And I just wonder if that comment was the one that really just made him just snap, like just being like, all right, I'm pissed. I know
it's a small thing, and maybe we shouldn't read too much into it, but he did do the badge thing, didn't he? After scoring, he did the badge thing. So I do like seeing that from players, even though it's, anyone can do it really. But so I think he's I do like that.
Good to see Stevie Frazier, best midfielder around. Let's go to Jed Spence now, Brad. I mean, Best player in a Spurs shirt for the past few months.
This is some of the older members of the fan show crowd will remember Roy of the Rovers. And if ever there was a Roy of the Rovers moment, it's the transformation of Jed Spence. Yeah. Unbelievable. I mean, at the start of the season, Ange didn't, he went on loan in Ange's first season. He didn't rate him. So there's something wrong there. I've had Leeds fans, when Leeds fans, oh no, he's not that, he's got an attitude problem, whatever it might be. Then he got some good performances at Girona. I think was it Verona or Girona, or who are they called? And it was like he was going to. I thought he was going to be sold to them. I thought, they're obviously not in Ange's plans. And next minute he's there, and you think, oh, okay, fair enough. Putting some good effort, good performances. Then he's left out of the European squad, and you think, bit strange. Yeah. But now he's back in the European squad, and you could argue he's the first name on the team sheet at the moment. He was brilliant yesterday. I mean, if anyone saw the game where that little bit where he's out on the left in the second half, where you think, how's he going to get out of that? And he somehow gets past the player and gets into the box and puts the ball across. So, yeah.
Did he make the England team? Is that a stretch? People are adding Thomas Tuchel on Twitter, being like, "Come on, come on, Thomas, you got to be taking a look at these performances."
I think I actually said this to the guy who I sit next to at the ground yesterday. Was that? He's an outside chance for an England call-up, definitely.
I see him as your Kyle Walker replacement personally. For the long term.
He's strong, he's fit, he's quick, he's very skillful, and we haven't even seen him play in his proper position. This is the thing about it. I think, and it gives us a really good chance that once once Udogie is back and playing, we can actually put Spence on the right back and give Porro a rest, as you said. The most games or most minutes in Europe. So it gives you a bit more flexibility. And I think we noticed that with the whole game yesterday, that we were able to bring on, no matter what you think about players like Johnson or Odegaard, at least we were able to bring them on yesterday. Whereas Man United, and I'm not going to cry about Man United had a bench full of teenagers. So,
which is what we've seen, right?
Yeah,
and Amram didn't make a single sub. Because of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Jed is at the moment definitely our best fullback, and well done to the guy. Well done.
You've given me a lot to think about with rotation, because you brought up how once even Solanke comes back, then you can do a rotation between him and Matisse Tell, but then also Matisse Tell can play on the left to rotate with Sonny. Yep. Technically, with Odegaard coming back, that's another player that can rotate there with Sonny. Mikey Moore, we know, has, an outside shot, and getting minutes every now and again, too. You start to notice, once you get these players back, there are more options, more players to rotate with, and, whichever one's in form, whichever one isn't in form, that type of thing, too.
Yeah, and we noticed it yesterday as well, was that, as I said just a minute ago, to bring those players on, you get a bit more level of comfort watching your games, because up until then there'd been no one really to bring on. So I think it's starting to look. I correctly, I have to say, I'm not blowing my own trumpet here. I correctly predicted that Liverpool would beat us in the second leg. Although I said 3-1, I said it'd be 3-0 and then we get a goal back, and it was 4-0. And I also predicted that Villa would beat us 2-1 and they'd be 2-0 up and we get a goal back. So I was literally correct in both those.
I feel like you know us too well right now.
Yeah, I've been supporting Spurs for many years. But I actually saw it as not a positive, but I actually saw it as an opportunity that now we've had these 2 wins, Brentford and Man United. So all that rubbish talk about relegation, that's out the window now. We're 13 points plus goal difference, so virtually 14 points clear, and we're going to expect,
coming back.
Yeah, exactly. We're expecting Ipswich or Leicester or that to suddenly start winning loads of games and catch us up. No, it's not going to happen. So we're safe. That means I think we can really, and I'm not going to say I'm not worried about the league. I want to see us get as high as possible in the league, because I think now that the European places go down to, I think, 9th at one stage, that's not out of the question. I don't think we're going to be way out of top 4, probably not even top 6, but we can. If we get a few more wins, we can just climb a little bit and get out. But I think we've now got the opportunity to play our best 11 in the Europa League matches. And as I said the other week, we're going to play a team that are in the bottom 12 or whatever it is in our first knockout game. We're going to have the second leg at home. People who are going on, oh, what about Galatasaray? I don't want to get Galatasaray. Well, they're 4-1 down from the first leg, so probably
it's
not
wild.
get Galatasaray. And who's beaten them? AZ, and AZ were pretty poor when we played them.
They didn't look too good when they played us.
I haven't really seen Real Sociedad, but they're a Spanish team, and Spanish team generally are good. So that would probably be the one that I wouldn't like to get. But yeah, so I think there's no excuse for not getting through to which would be the quarterfinal. And then, then it's anyone's, it's only 2 rounds from the final. And I'm not sure how it works out, whether we potentially could get, because it's done like a seeded sort of thing now. Potentially we could get Man United in the semi or the final. I don't know, which personally I wouldn't like, because we own Manchester this season. So, to beat Man United, which will effectively be 4 or 5 times in a row, is like,
it'd be great actually to play
it would
them
be
like
great.
6
It would be
times
great.
in a season.
It would be great. But you know me, I'm one for the law of averages. We hadn't won a home game in the Premier League since November, so we're due to win one, and we won one. So I tend to go for that. So, but I don't really. I think I've drawn a line from the Villa game. Drawn a line under that. The season started for me yesterday. And we're already 100% win. So that to me is good. Man United were very poor, but then you've I
was going to ask you about this. What did you make of the people that are like, oh, you're getting too ahead of yourselves? I think most of the people are just saying, I'm just glad that we won. And I think we still were the better team, not like we were exceptional.
Yeah, without a doubt. It would have been, I mean, I was there at the game. I watched Match of the Day, and I thought, bloody hell, if you watched that Match of the Day, you'd think that Man United were all over us and should have won. But no, I was at the game yesterday, and the right team won the game on the day. I saw our guys. If anyone doubts whether Ange just lost the dressing room, well, think again, because those guys really put in for him yesterday. It wasn't a pretty performance, wasn't a good performance, but they really put in for him. A real solid, resilient performance. They put in for him. They won the balls. We'd have a problem with our second ball. We didn't win the second ball as much as I'd like.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But they put in. They made tackles when they when you would wonder how the tackle was going to happen. No, they really put in from yesterday, and I think that it's definitely they're behind Ange, and that's the once that goes, that's when you do think about replacing the manager, whether you like Ange in or out. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm 50-50 on him. I still worry whether his system will work in the Premier League, because the Premier League is a much more consistent league. There's more consistently good teams in it, so I still worry about that. But I think as far as Europe's concerned, I think we've got a chance of winning. If we can get our confidence back, start playing better, I think we, and our players back, as you said, I think we've got a chance of doing it. I really do. Lazio, Eintracht Frankfurt, yeah.
Yes, sir. I'd agree with you that in the Europa League, sometimes the first few opponents you come up against should be beatable, and then by maybe then the semifinals, finals, you are going to eventually come up against either a team that's in form or a team that's actually a pretty solid outfit.
But then you have the two legs, which always gives you an advantage, because when you play a team in a one-off game, there's always that chance that they're going to be on form. You're not going to be on form and you lose it. But over 2 legs, you got to hope that consistently you can get through. Obviously, the finals are different matter, because it is in one leg. And I'm actually thinking about booking a holiday in where is it, Bilbao, for a week in around about May.
Tadeiros to Bilbao is what we were saying on the watch along.
Well, if we get to the final, I'll go to the final. If we don't, I'll have a week's holiday. So
no longer Tadeiros to Bilbao. That's what we've been saying recently.
I think that there are some decent teams. That, I mean, no team is bad really, but I think we got a good chance. I really do. And let's see. I mean, another thing is, if you're Ange in or if you're Ange out, he's going to be here for the rest of the season. Of that, I have no doubt. So let's get behind the team. Look, we have enough people in social media from opposition teams, from pundits saying, it's not going to work, blah, 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 blah. So why are we doing it to ourselves? Why are we, it's like, come on, let's support the team. Let's support the team. Let's put all the Ange out to one side for a minute. Support the team. It's the only team we've got. And whether you like it or not, Ange Postecoglou is the Tottenham manager. And he is Tottenham Hotspur for the moment. So we got to support him. So, I thought the crowd were very good yesterday. I have to say the crowd were very, very good yesterday. going back to the protest, unfortunately I couldn't make the protest, but I'm very pleased how that went. That seemed like they got a lot of people on there.
And it garnered good media attention, which is kind of what we're looking for.
Exactly.
Outside attention, right? Not just Spurs fans talking about Levy. You want people that aren't Spurs fans talking about Levy.
And although when you hear the Levy out chants very, very loud, didn't hear much yesterday. More that we had in the last game where they had a load of them, but that was because everyone was watching the game, and I do sometimes wonder where we should get behind. And even the guys, I think it's Jay from Change for Tottenham said himself that during the game, that's when we support the club. For that 90 minutes, we support the team, And I think that happened yesterday. I think that happened. There is a time and place for everything. And I do sometimes get a bit uncomfortable where we're playing well or we're in a game and we can win it, and it's only you hear the Levy out chance. I think it's probably a bit inappropriate. But that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, for you, it's timing and context, and when is it better served? And I think there is some arguments to that. I think there is, and there's good back and forth to be had there.
Yeah, but I'm definitely behind what's going on there. I think we have to change this club to we have to give it a winning mentality. Which is what Ange is trying to do. Whether he succeeds winning matches or not, I think he wants to put that in there, and he's putting the building blocks for that. And that's what we need. We need that from boardroom level as well. And it's none of this. Oh, we'll get that player because he's on a free. No, go for the players that cost money. Pay the wages. That's what winning clubs do. So. That's where I have a gripe with the current ownership. But
it sounds like you and I are in a similar boat when it comes to Spurs, where it's not like the win against Man United has resurrected you from the ashes of the poor form that we were in. But at the same time, you're kind of like, listen, now we got players returning. We're not playing nearly as many games. We were the better team against United. Try to. It's almost like you and I are kind of like back on sort of the wall or back on the fence, like what I was saying to Chris, like when will you get back on the Ange wall of leaning one way or the other, at least where you're kind of just in the balanced sort of position where you're not too sure which way to lean. Seems like you're kind of back there.
You've got to enjoy your victories. It's like
100%.
Because if you go every game and every victory, you think, well, we won, but we weren't that good. And then suddenly you start losing again. And you think, well, actually, I should have enjoyed that victory whilst it was there. This is my attitude totally. So I was in a really good mood after the game. The crowd were in a good mood. The ales flowed, sort of thing. I lost my gloves, but found them again, so that was really good. So it was all in all a really good day yesterday. And
I'm cut from the same cloth. I can say that the performance wasn't pretty. I can definitely have conversations and debates like, we weren't that great. But to be down and glum, after a win, I'm just never that sort of person. I will be smiling. I will be smiling after a win, no matter how ugly it is. I remember even one of the games, Dave and I, we were so negative for the whole 90 minutes because it was an atrocious performance. And I think it was like against Watford or someone. And then what was it? Sonny got a free kick and then he, put one in and Davinson Sanchez got the late winner. I remember we were awful for 90 minutes. And then the moment that happened, everything changes and, there's smiles on the faces. Everybody's happy. We were talking about how shit we were still, but it was still, the whole mood, even just on the faces changed. And I'm that sort of way where I can be happy about a win, but I can also say that the performance wasn't that great either. And I think that's where we were with the United game. And so with Ipswich, Brad, I guess, kind of with Chris, right? We'll see.
That's going to be difficult. They're a difficult team on their own ground, and we haven't got a good record against them. I can't remember the last time we beat them. I think it's the first game of the season. I can't remember what it was now, probably in the 90s. But one of my closest friends is an Ipswich supporter, so I'll have to put the question to him during the week. Is are you gonna do the double on us this season? But
that's horrible.
It's going to be a decent game. It's going to be a hard game. I won't be going, but I don't think it's on TV, so I'm going to have to try and get one of these streams to watch it. But again, that'll be another test for us. Another test, but let's not get too downhearted if we sort of just draw it, just not be downhearted.
I'm more worried about the Fulham and Bournemouth. I think that's like, those teams are, I think, actually very good, solid outfits. And I'm more worried about how we'll fare against them. I think against Ipswich, I'm still going to go into it expecting that we'll get 3 points. I don't think we're going to blow them away or anything, but I'd expect that we can get 3 points against them. I think it's
I
Fulham and
think,
Bournemouth that I'm a little
yeah.
worried. That those are good teams, and I wonder how we'll fare against them.
Sometimes we seem to play better against the good teams, like
True.
Bournemouth at home,
True.
especially being at home. I'm going to apply for tickets for the Fulham game because that's virtually local for me. So
Right.
yeah, it's down on the river, down near Putney. It's a really nice pub there actually. Across the river, and there's a pub there where all the Spurs fans normally meet. So I might partake in that. Well, if I get a ticket, that is. But yeah, it's the Bournemouth at home. I think at home we can win any game that we play at home. I really do. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, Brad, any final talking points that I didn't get to let you have, or anything like that?
No, just enjoy the win. It's a win. It's
Celebrate
3
everything.
points. Yeah, no one will look back on this next season and think, "Oh, we did play well that day." So because we're going to have games where we play absolutely brilliantly and not win. So you've got to take the rough with the smooth. You've got to watch the game with a nuance rather than this is shit. That was great. Same with players. That's always been my attitude. I remember Kulusevski getting a lot of ranting about him when he first came to the team. Oh, he's not quick enough. Oh, and he became that season. You couldn't live without him by the end of the season, his first season for Tottenham. So,
yeah.
And when he's on top form. So, I don't go with this. Oh, he's rubbish. Oh, yeah.
Now he's the song and the catalyst for Daniel Levy.
Exactly. Yeah.
How many people singing that chant wanted Kulu, sold, a year ago? That's what I always chuckle about. Yeah, fair point.
Exactly.
Well, Brad, thank you, sir. Thanks for keeping me company. I put in your link in there in case you wanted to give it a plug, but
Yeah, well, as I say, people probably know me by now, but Blue Surfer Songs is my music channel. I haven't put anything on there since Christmas, the famous Christmas song, but there's lots of stuff on there if you want to check it out. Back in the early days, where I sang into a camera phone playing live to using all this swishy recording equipment. And I am working on a new song. I was supposed to start recording it tonight, but I've put it back a couple of days now. So yeah, there will be a new song out hopefully soon.
Let the creative juices flow now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can't just sit down and write a classic. It's
don't force it out.
That I do share with John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Yeah, you just can't sit down and write a classic.
Yeah, it doesn't just. You can't do it in one sesh.
Totally. Just echoing what Chris said. Yeah, don't forget to click the like, subscribe. And all those notification bells and that sort of stuff, wherever it is on the screen. Because although I haven't been on the show for a couple of weeks, it's still one of the top shows out there, and it's always good to chat with you, Jack. And hopefully Dave will be better by next week.
I think he will be,
and we'll be able to talk about. To be honest, the last 2 weeks I've seen a lot of stuff in social media. It's become, I call it white noise. It's just like.
Yeah.
And I've just basically ignored it. I haven't had a lot to say in a lot of the WhatsApp groups, but hopefully
not
the win
worth your engagement. Yeah, it feels
hopefully the win will be better, and I'll do a bit more. But thanks for having me on, Jack. Pleasure.
No, we love you over here, Brad. So thanks for making the time for us. I totally get where you're coming from. Especially with Spurs, I think it kind of ebbs and flows, when Spurs can be probably, really worth, kind of getting really stuck into and engaged with. And then there are times when Spurs can leave you quite disillusioned, with football in general. But big up to you, sir. Thanks for keeping me company. And thanks for making these fan shows.
Celebrate everything.
Celebrate everything. Thank you, Brad. See you next time.
See you later.
That's about it there, everybody. This is those were the two guests. No one else has come in. Brad, I kept him on for quite a while there, because I love talking to Brad and I love talking to Chris, but we're now after an hour. This would be the point in which normally I would have already taken the link down. I made a few call outs earlier in case somebody wanted to make a debut or anything like that. It is a fan show member. Looks like maybe not today. That's fine. It is an American holiday anyways. So, I'm happy to go off and enjoy it. Still quite early in the day for me. And then tomorrow I'll put out a pundit reaction for you guys. I've recorded with the other David Harris, my second favorite David Harris in the world, the expat from the UK and Australia over from Lads It's Tottenham channel. I think we'll be doing probably a neutral watch along over on Big Up. So you can join me for that too. Whichever good Champions League games are over there and things like that. So look out for that. And on Wednesday, there should be, I think, a panel show. I think I haven't responded to him yet, but Dave, like I said, Dave should be back by Wednesday. Don't want to make total promises, but he said he should be back by Wednesday. And then by then, I think we'd be able to put together some sort of panel show or something like that with Johnny H, Sam, and some others. So join us for that. Look out for more and more content coming your way. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, and I will see you next time. Come on, you Spurs.